This demonstration is going to walk you through how to review as well as to create a report within Microsoft Access. We've already talked about tables, queries, and forms, and now we're going to look at a report. As a review, a report within Access would be used as a way to print out data in an organized manner that is available within your database. For demonstration purposes, we already have a report that is available here. So I'm going to open that report so you can see what a report could look like. A report can be displayed for any of the data that you have either within a table or a query, and you're able to organize that data in a printable format. So here you can see that this is a patient's listing. We have it organized by patient ID, by patient name, with their date of birth, street address, city, state, and zip. So their demographic information, in addition to a listing of all of the services with their diagnoses, their charges, as well as who is the physician, all listed here on our report. So within your report object, you have a lot of views, the most views that you will have from any of the other objects within Access. You have your report view, which is what we're looking at. You have the print preview. So this actually shows you what your report would look like if it's printed out. The other views you have is your layout view. So this actually shows you where each of the different text boxes within your report, how it's listed and will be printed out. And then your last view is your design view. And this is actually the view of how you create what your report would look like. Okay. So why don't we go back to home, go back to our report view. Okay. And the other thing I want to show you that is also included on a report is something called your subtotals or your total count. These are different fields that can be added to a report and calculated every time you run the report, as well as your date and the number of pages in a report. These here are modified on your design view, where you're able to add in these on your actual report. Okay. Now, before we walk through the report wizard on how to create a report, there are some properties that I want to show you and how to modify your report once it is created. So within your report, okay, we're in our design view, and on your design view tab, you have your property sheet. Your property sheet is where you define, first of all, where your data is coming from, okay? And this data actually came from a query. So this is what a query would look like. All of that is located on your property sheet, where you're able to actually see where your data has come from. Okay, I'm going to close this. Go back to my design, go back to my property sheet. Okay, this is where we were before. And then you see here where you're able also to modify specifically any of the different features that are on your report. You're able to do here within this property sheet. Okay, so I'm going to close this out. I'm actually going to close our form. And let's create a new form, a new report, excuse me. So we're going to go create, we're going to go to report, and we're going to use the report wizard. So for this report, you can choose tables or you can choose any of your queries to create a report. For demonstration purposes, I'm going to choose our providers. I'm going to do the provider code, first name, last name, degree. So we're going to do all of it and click next. Okay. Once you click next, then you have the option, do you want to add any grouping levels? And so this would say, do you want to group this in any manner? Thinking back to the example of the report we had before, where we grouped the different patients by their visits. Since this is only, we're showing the physician information with their names, their degree, and their code, is no leveling that I want to do for here. So I'm just going to click next. Before you even create the report, you have an option to sort the data how you want to sort it. You can sort it by a particular field. In this case, I think I'll sort it by last name. I'll do ascending, and notice you can keep on sorting it as many of the fields that you want that are available within your report that you're going to create. Once you select that, you can click next. You also have the option to choose how you want it to be laid out. You want it to be laid in a column format, in a tabular format, which is going across, justified, okay, where it's kind of going to group them together. You have the option to choose. You even have the option to choose the orientation of the paper, whether you want it in portrait, 8x10, or if you want it in landscape, which would be kind of across, giving it a more view of data depending on how many data fields you have within your report. I'm going to use column, okay, just for demonstration purposes, and click next. You always have to name your report, and I'm just going to leave it as providers for the report name. And then I'm going to click finish. Once I click finish, notice whatever those specifications we made within the report wizard is now showing. It is now in a more of a column format. We have them in ascending order by Dr. last name. However, I had it listed. Okay, notice if I want to go back, this order of last name, then I have code, then I have first name. If there are some things that I want to change, I do have the option to change that. I can go in the provider table, okay. I can go back to my view of my design view, okay. And then from my design view, I can go to the grouper or sorter if that's what I want to do. I can even go to the layout view and change the layout. If I want to change the layout and to move some things around, then I'm able to do that as well. Okay. All of that. I can even go to the arrange and notice here how it is saying if you want to add a sort, then I'm able to do that and change that around. I could select a column, I could select a row, I could insert a row. Notice how a row was just inserted right. You can do any modification you want. You can even bold. If I wanted to bold the provider here within my report when I print it out, I can. Or if I want to underline it, I can make any of those modifications with the formatting option there as well. Okay. So once I kind of do that, just to show what that looks like, I can go to my print preview and then notice now how my header is now bold and underlined, etc. Okay, for my providers. Now, what if I wanted to include a total count for my providers? All right, I then would need to go to my design view. Within your report, it's going to be divided into different sections. So notice here is at the bottom where I have my current page number listed here, as well as the date, which is the equal to the now. So there are a lot of different expressions that you can include. They all will begin with an equal sign, similar to how you would create a formula within Excel. And so if I wanted to add in a text box, okay, that actually gave me the total of the providers, and I'm just going to put it up here. You can put it anywhere you want to go. You can go to design. I'm going to include actually a text box. And I'm going to put that text box here. Okay. Notice how I get a text box and it says it's unbound. So I'm actually going to put in my total here. Okay. Just so you all can see how that goes. And remember, it's unbound in the fact that it's not linked to any of the tables. Okay. So then if I go equals and I can put count. Okay. And then I'm just going to do equals a count, and we're going to see what that looks like when I run my report. Okay, so I'm going to change my view, go back to my report view, And then notice, because I said count, they're counting, and I entered in this into my report. They're going to count each of the total number of providers. Now, how do I double check that? If I go back to my providers, okay, it's counting each of the providers, remembering where did you get your report from, all right? Was the providers, how many of those are showing up within my report? So it's actually counting all of the different fields, okay? So it's counting each of those fields within my report. So whatever expression you create, you have to make sure it's going to be correct in what you do want to count, okay? And there are several different ways of how you can create those different formulas within your report. For demonstration purposes, I just wanted to show you guys the availability of being able to include that within your report. If I don't want them to show on each of the sections, okay, because notice it is in the detail, meaning that this is what shows up on each of those, I then can take that and move that. I'm going to move it here down in the page footer. Okay, and now see, let's look and see what that looks like in the page footer. And notice now it is at the bottom of the page. So it's very important you understand that wherever you locate, whatever information you're adding or changing, this is setting up to say each of those sections that where we have to populate data, this is what it'll look like each time. Okay? So in a nutshell, that is how you would create a report using the report wizard, as well as being able to go in and modify any of the different text boxes or labels that's on a report by actually going to the view and changing that within the view. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this short tutorial just to give you a step-by-step in how to create a report.